All right. Thanks everyone for joining this Columbus Sitecore User Group October session and end of month. Happy Halloween to everyone. So today we have a panel discussion. As you know, we just came back from the symposium and MVP summit. So we gather some of our MVPs and Sitecore experience experts here to talk about that. And they will share their experience. They will talk about what they have seen there and also talk about the future of Sitecore. I will pass the baton to the speakers. I am the moderator. My name is Himadri Chakraborty, and I'm also the founder of this user group. So we'll go around the room and speakers will actually introduce themselves. So I'm going to start from Lisa.
Hi there, guys. How are you? I'm Lisa Saltzman. I am the Vice President of Marketing and Alliances at Agency Q. And my participation and involvement in the Sitecore community is I am also a 3-time Sitecore MVP ambassador. So shout out to any ambassadors, MVPs on this call. I am also a sole organizer of 3 Sitecore user groups. So thank you guys so much for inviting me to the Columbus user group. It's an awesome hat to wear that we're having a meeting that I don't have to organize. So it's truly exciting to participate from a panelist perspective. And then also I am an MVP mentor. I review applications. I was part of the ShugCon for North America, an organizer up on stage and participating in that. So again, great to be here. Thank you so much and look forward to the panel discussion.
Thank you, Lisa. Toby?
Yes. Hello, y'all. My name is Toby Gutierrez. I'm the Sitecore architect for Cracker Barrel, in case you can't tell. But yes, so been at a client now for about a year, just had my 1-year anniversary at Cracker Barrel. And so, but previous to that, I was working 15 years experience doing Sitecore architecture work throughout the different consulting agencies, different agencies that are out there. I know a lot of you guys, 5-time MVP, 2015 through 2019 MVP as well, but decided to jump into a client. So I'm working with Cracker Barrel now and looking forward to speaking with you from a client perspective on the Sitecore Symposium stuff.
Thank you, Toby. Madhu?
Awesome. Hi, everyone. This is Madhu Anbargan. I'm a Sitecore consultant, architect. I have been in the Sitecore industry for 15 plus years, Sitecore technology MVP for the last 5 plus years, and a Covio MVP. And I organize 2 different user groups and CertCon organizer, review the MVP applications. Pretty much what Lisa is saying, I'm repeating the same. But happy to be part of here. Thank you so much, Himadri and Maulik, for the opportunity. Happy to be part of here.
Thank you. Corey?
Yeah, hey, I'm Corey Smith. I'm an independent consultant in the United States. I'm an 8-time Sitecore MVP, and I am a co-host of Sitecore Lunch, which is a virtual meetup that happens every Friday at 12:15 Eastern Time. I co-host that with Jim Patillo, and I see a lot of names here in this meeting that I've not seen at Sitecore Lunch before. So I hope that you'll join us this Friday. Look in the general channel at the Sitecore Slack, where I'll post the information at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time this Friday. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Corey. And last not the least, Maulik. Maulik is also a Columbus SUG founder.
Hey, hi everyone. I'm Maulik Darji. I'm also one of the co-hosts for the Sitecore user group Columbus. Me and Himadri has been running this almost more than 3 years now with close to 450 members. So a pretty successful Sitecore user group. and I'm a 3-time Sitecore MVP, currently working at AAA Club Alliance. I'm seeing quite a few of my colleagues join today. Some were there in the symposium, some were not able to join. But looking forward to talking about the symposium experience, what it is like, how it is important, and how we have enjoyed that one. So, Himati, we can.
Yeah. All right. That's the introduction. So, as you can see, that our speakers are like, we try to have a diverse group from marketing to independent consultant from the client side and technologists. So hopefully the discussion will be thought provoking. And if you have any questions, you can either type it in chat or you can actually ask the question, and we hope to keep some time at the end for more questions, or even if you want to add anything to the discussion, that's welcome too. So being said that, I will kind of try to mix match, go between technology to marketing and things like that. So I will start with Lisa. So Lisa, can you go first?
Yeah, so from my perspective, kind of some big highlights and takeaways from Sitecore Symposium a few weeks ago. So obviously there was 2 big announcements. I wish we could have more dialogue and feedback back and forth, because I'm sure you guys know from super cool. Obviously AI functionalities and features that I know, talking to some people, they were getting slightly confused. So it is not another hexagon, which we do love our Sitecore hexagons, don't we? That all pieced together and stuff like that. This is a what Sitecore Stream is, which is, like I said, a big announcement, is think of it as added functionality and feature. Not for free though, of course. There's always a cost, right? That provides I guess I will say business users, marketers, people that are in this tool, functionalities and features that leverages AI on top of certain Sitecore products that help us in various ways, from brand recognition, brand tone of voice, imagery creation, and things like that. I mean, there's a whole list of kind of 3 main points that Sitecore Stream provides, depending upon which tool, whether it's in like Content Hub or CDP, and we can get into that. And then the second big kind of takeaway and point is that they made is the announcement of certain Sitecore products are now HIPAA compliant. I'm not sure how many people on this call are within the healthcare industry or vertical, but these products historically were not HIPAA compliant. So Sitecore was proud to announce that, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think it was 4 products are now HIPAA compliant. So those are obviously the 2 big takeaways from my viewpoint.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. I think Stream was definitely the things that highlighted a lot, and I think you cannot escape without talking AI in any conference these days. But good to see that they are not just looking Stream just as a content authoring tool, or it's going to spread out in every area of Sitecore. Looks like I have seen one that is generating a hero banner and things like that, right? So yeah. So as I said, if you have any questions or comment, you can add that in the chat. So from the technology side, Corey, what is your impression? What you saw most interesting?
I think the biggest thing for me from the symposium is that I actually walked away from symposium excited about the products and excited about the direction that Sitecore is going. In the last symposium that I attended was 2019, which is quite a long time ago now, but I just don't remember out of all the symposiums that I've attended walking away from symposium feeling like, wow, this company's actually got it together. They've got a clear vision. All their products actually seem like they're going to work together. And if I were a customer, I would actually be interested in buying and owning this product or leasing it, I guess, if you're going with the SaaS stuff now. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is just walking away, just like feeling excited about the future of Sitecore and the direction that they're taking things. I mean, as far as like what I learned from sessions and some sessions that I attended, I think that I didn't attend that many sessions. I attended a few. The ones that really stuck out to me were for, sessions done by Liz Nelson, who is I believe she's the senior product director of XM Cloud now. And Liz, her talks are awesome. I mean, one thing that's awesome about Liz is just seeing somebody get up on stage from Sitecore. You can tell that she lives and breathes the things that she's working on. She's excited. She's enthusiastic about the stuff that she's leading, the stuff that she's working on, the stuff that she's driving. And I think that that kind of feeds back into the audience and to the community as a whole, getting excited about those things. But she had two sessions that I attended. One was on the next gen front end development with XM Cloud, and another one was on the XM Cloud R&D roadmap. And yeah, I mean, again, just seeing the direction that she has and the vision that she has for the future of front end development of XM Cloud and the direction that they want to take content modeling with things like the content services. Yeah, I think it's just really exciting. I won't go too much into those because I think those really focus more on like the future of Sitecore, and Himadri, I think we're going to be talking about that here in a bit, right?
Yeah, definitely. Christopher, you have a question?
Yeah, you mentioned something about, the content modeling, and this might be a longer discussion, but like, that's something, content modeling is something I'm kind of pretty focused in on with my clients. And I was curious about, is the content modeling in XM Cloud like mature yet? I know that they were doing some with Content Hub 1, but my understanding is that product wasn't as mature. But, and again, I might be getting way into the weeds real quick, but on this, but it was something I was kind of curious about, content modeling.
Anyone wants to take that? Like Cody, do you want to talk about, because you were
Sure.
talking about XM Cloud?
Liz kind of went over this from a very high level perspective in her XM Cloud R&D roadmap talk. And basically what she said is, based on what she said, is that I guess that the way that content's modeled in XM Cloud right now is mature in the sense that they're not going to be building upon that. It sounded like from what she was saying that they're going to be starting from scratch and coming up with a new content modeling approach that is really more focused at how can they best model content to feed AI. So
Right.
yeah, I think it's going to be quite different than what you're used to right now.
Okay. Thanks. And then just one real quick thing. I didn't see much about it, but was there any talk about Content Hub 1 at the symposium or content modeling around that? Or part of where I'm going is trying to steer some of my current customers as they model their content. Is there a Sitecore product today that we should be moving towards, or should it be more like kind of more of a wait and see? But
Yeah, so I think Content Hub, you guys can chime in, but I didn't see a lot about Content Hub 1 this time, if I'm not wrong. But Content Hub 1 is like, obviously is a complete headless and is for certain market. It's not they're targeting for the enterprise market, I guess. Any thoughts on that?
I don't have my notes in front of me, but I do remember that it seems like Content Hub 1 is going to disappear as you know it today, which is why you didn't hear anything about it. There's not going to be a product called Content Hub 1 anymore.
Exactly.
I think what they were saying is that it's going to get folded into XM Cloud, and that on XM Cloud there's going to be XM Cloud headless and then XM Cloud headless with rendering. And XM Cloud headless, I guess without rendering, is what used to be Content Hub 1, and then XM Cloud headless with rendering is like the pages, page builder, all that stuff.
Yeah. A good question, and what I heard is that Content Hub 1 name doesn't make any sense to anyone. That everyone agreed on that, I guess. So okay,
That's what I
moving
heard
on.
too.
Yeah.
And I can second that as well. I didn't hear much on Content Hub 1, and I can second that there's been some known conversations about potentially the confusion because you have Content Hub, which is one product, and then you have Content Hub 1, which is a different. And Corey, I don't know whether it was MVP Summit, Partner Connect, Sitecore Symposium, that whole long week was a wonderful, awesome blur together. But yes, I kind of heard the same things you were saying, so I can second you on that.
Yeah. Good. So let's go with some client's perspective. Toby, you want to add your impression here on this?
Sure. So I think in order to kind of understand where we're headed, at least from what I'm trying to get at from Symposium, I think it's kind of the end all be all where we were coming from a past, present, and future kind of state. Is so where Cracker Barrel was previously from when I came into the company is they've got an old antiquated system. So if you really kind of think about it, they're really going through this big digital transformation time right now that has been put together by Julie Lucino, who came into the company and really put together these 5 pillars of success. One of them being winning in digital, right? And it's huge. It's this big digital transformation that's taking place through Cracker Barrel, some big initiatives and stuff like that. And so with that being said, we're redefining everything that we are digitally, right? And so one of those big initiatives is to take our current website and fold it over into something brand new or figure out what we're going to do with it, right? So that's what we did for the previous year, is determine what are we actually going to do from a client perspective. And so we're looking at these different products, right? And some of them were not even Sitecore, but realistically we went down the Sitecore path. So we came in and investigating that, taking a look at what was out there, and we decided to move forward with Sitecore, right? And so we even went to the Mock Alliance to go check out and find out a little bit more about that. And then we finally ended up jumping in with Sitecore for all their different particular products as a jump kind of suite that we got from them. And I want to say that we're one of, if not Sitecore's biggest client right now for their SaaS products. So we've got XM Cloud, we've got Order Cloud, we've got personalized CDP, and we've got Content Hub. So being that we have this now stack of products, right? We have to learn what we need to do to actually fill those particular. So everything's changed for us, right? We previously had even some back-end developers and stuff like that. Now everything's kind of moving more to the front end, right? So all these things are coming into play for us because we've got to juggle some things over here at Cracker Barrel, right? So for me as a client going into these conferences, but more specifically into Sitecore Symposium, was to learn from all the experts in the field, right? All the MVPs, get their knowledge, who's been down these particular paths, and really just get that knowledge from them and soak it all in, because people that have that knowledge is what we're going to be able to use here at Cracker Barrel to get ourselves in a good spot. And so when I went to the symposium, the main things that we were looking at is we talked to a lot of the different partners. Obviously, we're partnered up with Verndale, and they are a phenomenal partner for us. But we talked a lot to, even the other partners to find out what they're thinking, what kind of accelerators are out there. We also talked with Brightcove. We're going down this path of, we need to find a video streaming service and what's good for us. So we're talking Brightcove is there, who's, integrated with Sitecore to understand what they're actually doing that can, be good for us when it comes to video streaming, right? So if they're not integrated and they're not at that particular conference, then we're wondering why you're not there. So those are the kind of things that we're wondering for the client's perspective. So some of the big takeaways I think that I got from the actual session was this, is that I like how Corey hit it on the head. I'm going to piggyback on what he said, is that everything's that I saw, and I'm in the same boat, Corey, is that 2019 was my last symposium. And from what we saw, kind of going from, previous Sitecore into this new mock SaaS world of cloud native SaaS and headless, is that we can be confident that Sitecore, is headed down that particular path. And even that you're mentioning Content Hub, what to a true complete, headless type of a system, they're going down that path of mock architecture with mock strategies in place for those people that are really looking down to going down that path. So that's where we were looking at this year for us, is to what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Where are we going to align with as a partner? And what do we need to prepare for, both for resources, what technologies we need to use, and all that stuff is in play right now as we're kind of going through this particular path. So it's a huge initiative, but those sessions that I were in were a lot of roadmap sessions, to be honest with you, where we're looking to find out what is coming down the pipe for CDP, personalized, unified tracking, order cloud, how to, Content Hub, all that good stuff. So it was a big win for us. And I think our team got aligned at that particular meeting for them to see what Sitecore is as a total platform overall, and to get excited about it, to find out, hey, this is what Sitecore is doing, and this is where they're headed, and get really excited about the actual initiatives in the platform itself.
Awesome. So guys, just remind you that the technology and Sitecore was not only part of the conference. We had a lot of fun meeting our friends and everyone. So do talk about what we did outside of just learning the platform and technology. So all right. So I'll ask Madhu to share her experience. And Madhu is I understand you recently changed your job, part of a much bigger company now. So hope everything is going good. And please go ahead.
Absolutely, Madhuri, absolutely. Lot of fun stuff. Lot of good people to meet in Infosys. I never seen them because we all work in remote, and it was good to be as part of the in-person meetup. And my favorite one was obviously the XM Cloud Stream and HIPAA compliance and stuff. But my personal favorite as a developer, as an architect, was the continuous support to the XM XP support. And the Sitecore 10.5 is releasing up on October 2025. So there is a lot more upgrade, a lot more work coming in. Hopefully we'll move to XM Cloud soon. But then for now, I'm happy that XM and XP is staying and releasing 10.4.1, 10.5 in October. And another my favorite is the developer experience. It has the freedom of choice where we can pick our own front-end system, the deployments, whether it's Next.js, Angular, or Edge. The session by Liz was really awesome. And there was one more thing, was Sitecore documentation. I think now they come up with a new document. It's going to be a new documentation where there is a UI thing where we can try out, where we can play around with the features and stuff. So I'm really excited to try out the new Sitecore documentation. Apart from that, we had a lot of fun with Sitecore MVP party and the symposium party. Definitely the Music City it has its own vibe, and I never been this much social in my LinkedIn. I think every day I was posting pictures and videos. I hope I wasn't polluting with my feeds, but happy to be here.
Yeah, Nashville is awesome. I think it was appropriate place for the conference and the party, and my God, the hotel
Absolutely, Madhu.
was like I haven't seen a hotel that huge or a resort that huge ever before. All
Absolutely,
right,
absolutely.
let's go with go to Maulik. Maulik, I know that you are currently working on a project which actually was selected for experience, award. So yeah, what's your
Yeah.
take on the symposium and MVP summit?
So this was, I think, my fourth or fifth symposium. I have been crazy parties in Florida, but this was way more fun. So many parties. Things started. There was a food tour. If you have not been, if you are not aware, there is always a food tour arranged by Chat. So that was on Sunday. Monday was MVP summit for us, and then there was a MVP party. So in MVP Summit, we come to know a lot of things. We cannot discuss about that stuff in public. Those are NDA stuff. But I would say it in the terms that Sitecore sometimes releases some module or show us that, yeah, we are planning something. What is the feedback? Kind of that also happens during MVP Summit, and MVP Party was also fun. There was a partner connect, and then Wednesday the symposium started with the launch of Sitecore Stream. It was a very great thing that Sitecore has integrated the AI in the platform itself. Though it is little extra charges with that, but it is part of the platform. If it is coming as a part of the platform, quite a lot of time it is worth going with that. There are lots of stuff. I have attended the sessions specifically to the need of our organization. So I'm working as in AAA Club Alliance. Uh, it was a very happy surprise for us when we were featured on very first thing Dev Flanagan mentioned on our website on the keynote. So it was one of the biggest moment. We are the one of the finalists for the Experience Award. Though we did not won, it was a great experience. We built our website, and for the first time, we are building and we are reaching to that point. It was a great thing for the team. I have my team here who has done excellent work. We released one more part last night at 12 a.m. and we are up in the morning and working. So you can see the dedication of the team. With Symposium, as Himati mentioned, parties. We had Wednesday evening, lots of vendors who has thrown parties. Thursday, there was Sitecore Symposium party in the evening. And the best thing happened on Friday. That was the first ever Sitecore lunch in person. We had, I think, more than 40 people join us in person, talking with each other. We had a nice area covered, like lots of people were there. And that was one of the great things. Symposium, I always look at that in a way that I am going to meet people. I am going to meet people who I have already seen online, or maybe I only see them online. I haven't met them in person, but Symposium is a place where we go and meet the person. One thing which we have, like in XM Cloud, there is one thing coming that is called Marketplace. So if you are in a Sitecore uh, technologies, and you must have heard that we had a marketplace in past, but it's no longer. But Sitecore is reintroducing or introducing the marketplace. So lots of we can create our own modules. We can release it to marketplace. So that is a very much welcome change from what I'm seeing as lots of different things, XM Cloud roadmap. So one thing what Lisa mentioned, Content Hub and Content Hub 1, two different product but very similar name. And I always had a challenge why there is a pages. So first time ever, I was so much happy to know that Sitecore has changed the name of the pages to Pages Builder. So that is at least a good thing. Lots of changes coming, performance-wise, improvements coming. So yeah, that was a good thing to know during the symposium.
Thanks, Maulik. Yeah, so Maulik must had a good time. I have seen so many times he talked about party. So yeah, we all had good times. So couple of things I want to add, like in a session, I thought that was interesting is like one session that Sebastian and Hans, Christian Hans, they talked about difference between comparison, like, with SXA component builder component or BOIC component, like, so that was a really good session, which they actually showed, like, what you can do with SXA component and what you can do with component builder, where you should use it, where component builder lacking, and things like that. And that was really good session. I found it interesting and good. Also, like, I think that's not NDA, but we got to hear about XP's roadmap, right? What they are planning to do with XP, because we have heard in this symposium also, as well as in the MVP summit, like a lot of customers prefer to stay with XP. Some for regulation reasons, some just don't want to actually ready to move to SaaS-based system. Regulation means, like, there are certain countries they don't want to actually move their data to the SaaS system, right? It's not, it doesn't work for them. So they need a CMS like XP, and we heard that they are moving. They are planning to upgrade to XP to next version of .NET. Structurally, a lot of changes they are planning to do, like trying to make it more headless than what it is now, like, breaking up things and moving parts, and, like, who knows, maybe there will be no web database sometime. So it was already there, like an XM, like, uses age. So we heard a lot about that too. I think that's not coming soon, but maybe in year or so we'll be seeing a lot of changes on the XP side, and it's good to know that they are still going to support XP. All right, so we should talk about what is specifically you are looking for, or like, in the future, or what's coming in the future, right? I mean, basically, what's your prediction? What is going to happen? So, all right, Corey, you want to take away, like, what's your impression on that?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of build on what you were just talking about with the future of XP. It's clear that Sitecore is still committed to it. I think that they put a date of 2032, if I recall correctly, is how long it's going to be supported. And I think that what you bring up about XP being on .NET or .NET Core in the future is kind of an interesting thing that I've been thinking about a lot since Symposium, because in the past, I think I've really taken for granted what it means for XP to get moved to .NET or .NET Core. I just always thought that, moving XP to .NET is just targeting a new framework and you get all the same features that you have in XP today. But I don't think that that would be the case. I don't know that XP, like the Sitecore kernel and all those DLLs, they can't just be ported to .NET as is. I mean, if you think about some of the things that we take advantage of when we're building on XP today, like Sitecore pipelines, I mean, that's a custom thing that Sitecore has developed. But and patching in pipeline processors, but like think about just like an admin page, right? If you need to add a custom admin page for something to manage jobs or whatever, like how do you do that? You go and make a .aspx page, you drop it in the admin folder, and then bam, it just starts working. Well, that's tied to the .NET framework, right? That's a web forms feature. That's a .NET framework feature. And if they take XP to .NET or .NET Core, those things don't come along for free anymore. I mean, that's something that Sitecore would actually have to make a concerted effort to maintain that kind of like drag and drop admin page functionality. They would have to do that, and it's probably not going to look the same. So I think it's interesting to think about the future of XP on .NET framework or .NET or .NET Core, and I don't think it's, if that day comes, I don't think it's going to look like the Sitecore XP that we know today, and I think that it's probably also going to require, if they still allow us to customize the CMS. I mean, we're probably none of the stuff that we've written to customize the CMS today is going to be portable to that. So it's going to be a rewrite. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how clients respond to that.
Yeah, it definitely sounded like that in the session that Vignesh presented. Like, he wants feedback from the community, but it definitely sounded like it's a rewrite. It's not a
Right.
porting up, like, one interesting thing also I heard about is that if they go to .NET 8, which is the current version, their lifetime is actually 3 years, and
Right.
how they are going to keep up with that, right? So that's interesting. That was an interesting discussion, right? All
Yeah,
right,
right.
let's,
Like compared to the .NET framework, which seems to have an infinite lifetime. They're never going to stop
yeah,
supporting it, it seems, right? Yeah.
exactly. It still works. All right. A lot about technology. Lisa, what do you think from the strategy and marketing side? What is coming in future? What do you think should happen? You are on mute, Lisa.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was so from the marketing side, I'm actually going to share a few notes from, I'm not sure how many partners are on here or on the partner side. But I did attend the Partner Connect Day on that Tuesday, and it was really a half a day where some Sitecore leadership got up and gave some key points and things. And to answer your question, I would like to highlight kind of 3 areas where Dave O'Flanagan pointed out to the partners. Kind of 3 key areas that is on his list, which as a marketer, this is great. One is customer focus. So that was one of his key initiatives. Not only can I say that from the marketer business user hat, but also I can say that from the client hat. So again, not sure how many clients are on this call. It was really happy to hear that because I do also wear the client hat. So customer focus. 2, I think we kind of a little bit talked about this, is choice. So if you guys remember from, what was it, Symposium 2022, it was all XM Cloud, XM Cloud, XM Cloud. Obviously, that was a big new product and feature and push and stuff like that. But he is committed to choice. So sometimes XM Cloud is not the right fit for certain clients and stuff like that. So offering choice and not always, like I said, pushing for XM Cloud. And the third, I think, would directly answer your question is innovation. He is looking for new features, functionality, how to enable. So IT developers, cover your ears, but how to enable marketers and business users to do more. Obviously, we still need, implementation and setup and all the configurations and stuff, but how to enable through tech platform innovation. Obviously, we talked about Sitecore Stream, how to really take marketers and business users further. Not also like from the client perspective, but think about from the competitive perspective, which then he talked about doing all this through focus and really focusing on the right to win, where Sitecore products make sense, where they have the right to win for certain categories because they excel in certain areas over the competition. So from my viewpoint, as a marketer and business user, that was very exciting to hear from top-down leadership, kind of those three pillars and areas that he's focused on.
Yeah, and we have on the technology side, I think we are also seeing the big push on component builder, right? Which like built for basically marketers, so that they can do things without heavily depend on the technologist. And there are scenarios where that kind of tool will be used. So good to see that.
Yeah, and I think it also opens up to, I mean, historically, it feels like that marketers would go to IT and go, fix this, do this. I mean, very tactical things. And I think this also should be exciting to the technical side, because it frees up all the little tickets and questions and feedback from the marketers of do this, do that, that allows the technical side, the developers, to focus on designing and building and integrating really cool stuff. So I think it is a win-win. Less focused on technical requests and little tactical things from marketing and business users to really, get into the code and build really awesome stuff. So that's just my.
No, you are absolutely right. I think we here empowering the marketer, the way we should do, from the technology side, we should think about that way. And that I think, Toby, you can add your your comment here. Since we are in a project, we are constantly hearing that kind of message, right? I mean, empower the marketer. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, it piggybacks right into everything that Lisa was talking about. I mean, it's so basically here at Cracker Barrel from the client side, as the Sitecore architect, essentially I'm responsible for taking care of the DX team, which is our marketing team, right? I mean, we have to enable them to go out and win in digital, right? So we're building this marketing platform so that we can go back and bring ROI back to Cracker Barrel, so our investors will be happy, so they can make some money, right? I mean, that at the end of the day, it's about we need to bring back money to our investors. How do we do that? And so that's where we chose these platforms in order to do that, so that we can make the Lisas of the world happy, right? So they can go do their job and do it effectively and be happy about doing that job and be empowered to do that. And not always be in contact with the developer to do that, but we want to be able to give them that power to do it, so that they can each and every day go out and just win, and just be happy about doing their particular job. So what I heard that was futuristic for me from Sitecore that was really telling is our DX team has a very hungry appetite. And I think you're all probably going to see that moving forward, developers, partners, or what have you, is the MarTech stack as it continues to evolve, right? You're going to see everybody what's the next best thing. Now, don't get me wrong, XM Cloud and some of these other products do have a high price tag, right? But if they can get that, and then they gain that competitive edge, as I think we were alluding to, right? It's about getting that competitive edge over who's Cracker Barrel's competitors are, like a Chili's or an Applebee's or Texas Roadhouse, that kind of thing, right? But if we have that competitive edge in that MarTech stack that they're so hungry for, that's where we're going to be able to deliver from a client perspective on what it is that we need to do. So to give marketing what it is they need to do is to bring back the results back to Cracker Barrel, to bring people through the door and make our customers happy, which is all about pleasing people here at Cracker Barrel. So I'm excited about it. I think we saw a lot of AI stuff coming out of it as well, but in that MarTech stack, I don't think it's going away. And I think Sitecore's committed to bringing AI through everything. And I think they're going to be leading in that space, as we saw with Sitecore Stream that Lisa spoke about. But everything is just an exciting time right now, I think.
Yeah. All right, Madhu, what do you think is coming? What do you think that's coming in future?
Absolutely, Madri. So it's XM Cloud. Obviously, it's like everywhere XM Cloud and AI and stuff. But I'm happy that we are sticking with XM and XP as well. Like I can't wait to install the Sitecore 10.4.1 on my local using SIA. So I always have, like, whenever the new instance comes in, I install it and I blog about it, like how to install Sitecore 10.2 or 3 using 5 simple steps, stuff like that. So I can't wait to install it. And it also helps me with any of the bugs that comes in with the Sitecore, with the client environment. So I think that, is this with the client environment or is this with the vanilla instance? So it helps me to narrow down the issue pretty quickly, that if it's Sitecore, then open up the Sitecore ticket. If it's not, then we need to invest more time on the client code. And the next one is the XM Cloud. I have the sandbox. I have done some demo pages and stuff, dragging and dropping the components and stuff, but I never connected the XM Cloud into the front end Vercel. So I would love to try connecting the XM Cloud with the Vercel and see how that works. Never got a chance to work with XM Cloud, but hoping that in future sometime I'll be able to work on XM Cloud.
Yeah, it's kind of opposite for me. Like, I don't think if someone asked me to install XP now, I'll just totally miserably fail. I just like you guys didn't reason.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, basically it's just is kind of yeah,
I
definitely.
know I can't get away from XM and XP. I was super happy to see that it's supported till 2032. I'm like, oh, that is so good.
It's good to know that they are, like, rethinking about the XP architecture, and it's going to be much more like, modular and probably will be easier to actually handle and install. Okay, Christopher, you have a question?
Yeah, I was curious when you were mentioning about installing locally. I heard from a couple people I was watching the symposium virtually, and with some of my, I'm in a much smaller consultancy than I used to be, but I used to use Docker, for example, to set up local instances. And then if I only had like 1 or 2 clients, back in the day, I'd install several instances. But I was just curious. I heard when a couple of the guys from Sitecore training were mentioning that instead of, like, if you want to just do some prototyping or experimenting, instead of using Docker locally, people are shying away from that. I was just curious what people thought. Like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to give some direction to my developers, like, hey, use Docker or not, or so for prototyping locally, or should they just install it locally and deal with it?
Yeah,
Good
sure.
question.
I can answer on that one, Madhu, if you.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah. So, Christopher, with XM Cloud, the default approach or Sitecore recommended approach earlier was Docker. But quite a lot of people have faced issue with Docker. So they have now started proposing FED, that is front-end development approach, where your local, you will have the code repository, and with some parameters, you can directly connect to XM Cloud instance. So in XM Cloud, you will see direct parameters that just copy that parameter, put it in your environment file, and you should be up and running development on your local. The same approach has been recommended now by Sitecore. They have updated their Sitecore Accelerate documentation recommendation as well with that. There has been number of challenges with Docker, so they have started recommending this particular practice.
Yeah, so it's worth mentioning that and Corey, we are in that session that Liz presented, that they're definitely going towards front end driven development and making XM as headless. And I think you can see the recent changes that metadatabase, geeking a bit here, like, metadatabase approach and the Chrome-based approach, which is like, metadatabase, which is based approach, which is supported only in the pages, right? And the architecture is much simpler than like, the one previously with Chrome-based, which supports experience editor also, right? I mean, if you do not need the support for experience editor, obviously pages doesn't support everything, like, it doesn't support multi-list field. So if you don't need experience editor, you can actually make use of much better architecture. Yeah, Corey, you want to add anything?
Yeah, that's one thing that Liz said, though, is that she was pledging by the end of Q4 that Pages and Experience Editor would have feature parity. So
yeah,
not long to go before the end of Q4. So a lot of stuff to do, but they're focused on getting that feature parity there so that they can get rid of Experience Editor entirely in XM Cloud.
right.
Yeah.
I see a comment.
I think. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think that the thing about not using Docker really applies. Not using Docker for Sitecore, like your CM, really applies for XM Cloud, but for XM and XP, they're still committed to it, is the messaging that I got. So if you're using those, Christopher, like Docker, if it works for you, you can still use that.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's still supported.
that's
But
great. Yeah, because some of my clients, well, again, it's mostly for prototyping, and so specifically as we prototype for clients or just training helping my developers, I do the training in our organization, and along with, obviously they do official training, but the big thing is trying to get them to look at the newer technologies, but so not just learning how to do XM Cloud, but if we're going to be migrating people from their current on-site, on-prem instance, I want them to have like an instance there. They have something local. So maybe then in those cases, they could use Docker for the local, for the on-prem instance, and then and use this other technique for it, for clients that'll be using this XM Cloud. So no, that was great, everyone. Thanks. That answered what I was trying to figure out.
yeah, and Cam, you added a comment here. You want to talk about it, or you want me to read this?
I can mention it, but I think it's a pretty obvious one that for anyone that's been using Docker for any time. Yeah, use Docker if you can, if it works. I know a lot of people have issues with getting it to work, especially in corporate machines with VPNs and security policies and things like that. I don't have a corporate machine; it's just effectively my personal laptop. So it works perfectly, and then I'll set it all up and then hand it over to the internal dev team, and they're like, I can't get it to work. And trying to debug what the issue is difficult, and then even more difficult is trying to explain that to the corporate security team, who are not going to budge on relaxing their security policies, right?
I agree.
We all know how that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the same situation. We started developing on Docker in March. Everything worked well. We delivered a site, and then suddenly some security changes happened, and all the developers have the Docker environment down, and we are not able to start that after that time, and that's why we had to switch to the front-end driven development.
Yeah, definitely it is much simpler. Although I sometimes see, like, there is a little bit of tension with serializing Sitecore items.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the tricky part. But other than that, yeah. Madhu, you wanted to say something?
No, the Docker one with the serialization and the transforms as well. It's a bit harder.
Yeah, yeah. All right. We have 2 minutes left. If anyone wants to add any final thoughts, please go ahead.
Sure.
I do. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. So one of the a few things was that was AI. So AI related, there was one very good thing which we saw was Versal AI. They have something called Sitecore JSS Copilot, and that was really very good. Then one of the session Rick shown how to set up GitHub code spaces. So he literally took 5 minutes to set up the development environment on GitHub code spaces and XM Cloud development. He started during the session, he downloaded and started working on that. So those two are really very good. And apart from that, when we are talking about the AI, Content Hub also has added AI features. They have now AI assisted search. There is an authoring with AI, and they have upgraded version 2 of image tagging with our choice of AI that is coming. So right now it's a Microsoft Vision, but there will be a better version of that Microsoft Vision. So that will be way better for AI tagging. It will somewhat correctly tag the images than what it is doing right now.
All right.
Lots of good things like new architecture is coming for the XM Cloud pages. So plus what Liz has mentioned, the team is trying towards platform agnostic XM Cloud, so we can use any development front end to work with XM Cloud. So
Great.
those are a few things
Lisa,
really very good.
you wanted to add something?
Yeah, and this is actually a good wrap up point because I know some people are dropping. We're just about out of time here. And I don't know about you, the end of symposium, I always wait. Are they going to have a symposium in 2025? Have they made announcements? So as we talk about wrapping up and what's next. So for those that this was my 8th crazy Sitecore Symposium. Historically at the end, they usually announce or do something or do a little save the date or a teaser or something. But to my understanding is that was not done. Doesn't mean we're going to have one or not have one. They just didn't do it. However, they did ask in the attendee, I'm not sure if anybody completed the survey, they were asking for input on city, location. So in my 2 cents, what I think is going to happen is that, and again, this isn't official, so this is just my interpretation. I think they may skip symposium for 2025. And I think they would potentially do like a DX. Those seem to work well last year, so potentially every other. I do know that they have happenings of ShugCons. So I think they're trying to pull those back up for 2025. So I do know that we had a ShugCon in North America last year, so maybe it'll be back on the docket for 2025. There is a page dedicated just for that. So maybe as a last, I would love to see it in the comments here as we're just wrapping up. Where do you think? What city? Where should it be? I know what I voted for, but I would love to get your guys' input. Where do you think it should be?
Yeah, and you have to be quick because we are out of time. So I hope we'll see the SACCON and DX next year. And I just want to thank everyone participated here, obviously the speaker and everyone in the audience for participating today. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thank you so much.
Bye.